Every human being is born with an innate desire for success. In a global environment, everybody wants to be successful. However, success is not given to us in a platter of gold. We achieve success through various methods and pathways. Some of the pathways are localized, some are global and generalized. However, in this broadcast today, we are going to look at two pathways to success. One, motivation. Two, discipline. In other words, I'll be comparing these two pathways and demonstrate to you that motivation and discipline are not the same. And then we will look into it in detail and find out maybe we haven't understood one of them or both of them. Once more, thank you for joining this broadcast. Stay tuned and I'll be right back. Motivation or discipline. If you want to succeed, there are various ways you can succeed, but let's look at these two today because we have a lot of motivational things going on all over the world. Motivational speakers, motivational conferences, motivational books, and all of them are very, very okay in my opinion. However, I would like us to really consider what this motivation is all about and also consider what discipline is all about. Well, motivation can be defined in various ways, but what is more important is for you to understand that motivation is more of an internal state that propels individuals to engage in goal-oriented behavior. So motivation is more of an internal state that propels you to engage in goal-oriented behavior. That's basically motivation. But then what is discipline? Discipline is different from motivation. Motivation is more of an internal state propelling you towards a particular goal. However, discipline is more of a practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior. While motivation propels the internal state, discipline actually trains you to obey rules, or it trains you to obey a certain code of behavior. In the late 1990s, more so in the 2000s, up to 2010 and coming to where we are right now, a lot has been said about motivation. We've had an exponential increase of motivational speakers. They do conferences, they do seminars, they are on your timeline all over the world, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with motivation if you know the purpose of motivation. But the issue is, a lot of times people don't know the purpose of motivation. So let me say this: you can never become successful through motivation. Motivation has never built a civilization. Motivation has advanced human society. Motivation has never created anything. So why is there so much talk on motivation? I'll tell you why. Because motivation is a shortcut to success, whereby you assume that the reason you are not doing certain things is because you are not motivated enough. Because that is the premise upon which motivational speaking, lays its foundation. And fine, I understand that. You need to be motivated. You need that internal state to stir you up in a particular direction so you can engage in a particular goal-oriented behavior. I get that. But my point is it possible that a lot of the motivational speakers or speeches we listen to have not really helped us? Because if they have, then we may not have been where we are today. You may not have been where you are today. So what is the problem? The problem is what I want us to cover in this particular broadcast. And I want to introduce to you the concept of discipline. That training that makes you to obey rules and obey a certain code of behavior. The reason being this, and listen attentively, I really don't think your problem is a motivation problem. I would subscribe to the view that most likely your problem is a discipline problem. How I wish you will reduce how much you listen to motivational speakers and increase how much you listen to disciplined speakers. You know, I introduced the word disciplined speakers. That's my vocabulary. Because you see, there are two sets of people you can easily listen to: motivational speakers or disciplined speakers. The reason we gravitate towards motivation is because motivation authenticates our feelings. Motivational speakers confirm our narrative. Motivational speakers inflate your ego. Motivational speakers focus on the outcome. So they tell you, girl or boy, don't let anybody pull you down. You can make it. If you believe it, you can do it. Just fake it till you make it. So they inflate your ego. They give you a fairy tale perspective of life. They tell you what you want to hear, because nobody pays to go and listen to someone who tells him or her what he or she doesn't want to hear. That's why we gravitate towards motivational speakers. And of course, there are elements of truth in it. Yeah, you don't need people to pull you down. That's fine. You need to make it. That's fine. But you see, the problem with motivational speakers is that a lot of times, the element that will really make you successful, called discipline, is missing in their dialogue. Because you see, the thing about this is that discipline, while motivation focuses on the outcomes, discipline focuses on the process. And I want to let you know that if there is anything you don't have in your life, it is highly likely the culprit is not motivation, but lack of discipline. Discipline is the reason why you are overweight. It is not motivation. If you want to lose weight, it's not motivation. Oh, you can lose weight. Oh, girl, just cut down 20 pounds. You know, just go to the gym. You can do this, get a personal trainer. Then they motivate you. The reason a lot of you registered in a particular gym is that you listen to a motivational speaker. It can be a professional one or even your friend. So you went and registered. I'm going to cut down this weight. You know your problem? It's not motivation. A lot of you are paying gym fees and you're not using that particular gym. The problem is, to lose weight is not a motivation issue. It is a discipline issue. You need a disciplined speaker. You need someone that can be yourself, who can discipline yourself. It takes discipline to get a spouse. You discipline your mouth. You discipline your behavior. It's not motivation. Oh, when I grow, by 25, I'll be married. By 30, I'll have 3 children. Keep motivating yourself. It will take discipline in your character, discipline in your behavior, discipline in your self-control for that to happen. How I wish that we will listen more to disciplined speakers than motivational speakers. There are times I motivate, but see how I motivate. To me, listen, I am not against motivational speaking. I do that at times myself. The point is, I am putting it where it belongs. Motivational speaking or motivation, to me, is that energy you use at times to fuel your discipline. That means I don't care how much motivated you are. All of that motivation is like fuel or energy you put into your discipline. Because at the end of the day, it is discipline that produces results. Because discipline focuses on the process. Motivation focuses on the outcomes. So they present to you a beautiful picture of what you can be, what you can achieve. Nobody should run you down. You are complete in your own. You are the best version of yourself. You know, they use all those fanciful language. What does it even, what is best version of yourself? What does that even mean? You can't be the best version of yourself. Then you don't need improvement. No, you don't. What we need in this generation is discipline. You don't become World FIFA Player of the Year by motivation because your coach motivated you. Again, you see, the coach can motivate. Most at times, during the halftime, the coaches motivate them. Boys, you can win this game. Put up your spirit. We cannot lose this game. He motivates the players. Can I tell you something? It is discipline that produces that result, not motivation. If you motivate people who are not disciplined, you produce a disaster. You don't win games by motivation. You can motivate an athlete. Usain Bolt is not the fastest runner because his coach is motivating him. Discipline. Again, the motivation is good, but the motivation should reinforce the discipline. That's the point I'm making. You can't just sit there and you want to make money. You're motivated. Discipline. You don't become prayerful by motivation. You become prayerful by discipline. Reason being, with motivation, you feel good about it. With discipline, it doesn't make you feel good. Oh, there are times you need to run in the morning. You don't feel like running, but you discipline yourself to run. There are times you want to say certain things, but you discipline your tongue because you know you can't speak like that. You're boiling inside of you, but you have to control your tongue. It is called discipline. One of the ingredients we lack in this generation is the ingredient of discipline. That is why we have a lot of casualties. If you're going to drive as a good driver, you must be disciplined as a driver. If you're going to have a successful marriage, you must be disciplined as a spouse. If you're going to be a successful athlete, you must be disciplined as an athlete. At times, you have to even be disciplined on the lane you run. If you cross into another lane, you will be disqualified. How else can we explain discipline to this generation? Because discipline places responsibility on you. Motivation does not place that responsibility. Motivation is just there to fan your flame, push you forward. But discipline tells you, listen, there are obstacles you must overcome. And it is your responsibility to overcome those obstacles. Motivation gives you the impression that every other person is the problem. Discipline makes you understand you are the problem. You see why people don't love disciplined speakers? They call disciplined speakers old-fashioned. Times have changed. This is 21st century. Nothing has changed. The state of man has not changed. The heart of man has not changed. The problems of man have not changed. Nothing has really changed. Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. You cannot invent something that already exists. Motivation is the servant. Discipline is the master. Use your motivation to serve your discipline. Because if you don't do that, you will get to a point in your life. You'll have a lot of big talk. You can talk big, you can act big, you can do all the big stuffs, but you will not get things done. Things are done through discipline. And let me explain again, because I often say people have very selective hearing. I am not against motivational speakers. I do that myself once in a while. But I understand motivational speaking, to me, it is that thing you tell people to stir their internal state and propel them in a particular goal-oriented behavior. Then they now need the discipline to accomplish that particular purpose. The reason why I am saying, and I'll say it again, motivation is not the point that a lot of things can motivate you. At times, suffering can make you to decide that I cannot die poor. That's motivation. At times, disappointments can motivate you. A lot of things can motivate you. You can see what your friend is doing and you feel motivated to do something. That's fine. But when it comes to discipline, it will cost you time. It will cost you at times even yourself. It will cost you your feelings. It will cost you your opinion. It will cost you your discipline. It will cost you your submission. Discipline is not an easy thing. This generation does not like discipline. Discipline is the key, one of the keys to a successful life. How disciplined are we in this generation? How can we even be disciplined when we walk by feelings and what makes us look good? We are more focused on how people see us than on really what we want to achieve. We are more focused on what makes us feel good, what makes us happy. Happiness goes with motivation, not with discipline. A lot of times, the things you discipline yourself for don't make you happy. Let's take diet as an example. When you discipline your diet, you think you're happy about it? You saw the ice cream, you can't eat it because you've said ice cream is once a week. Discipline. You're angry, You need to control your words. Discipline. You don't feel good about it, but that's what you should do. It is called discipline. And discipline, like I defined, is the practice of training. You practice it. It is a training. You train people to obey rules and or a code of behavior. That is discipline. Obedience to rules and codes of behavior. So this is the point. Anything you want to accomplish, if you cannot self-motivate yourself, get someone to motivate you. If that is done, the key thing you do now, what do I discipline in my life, in my environment, in my thought, in my words, in my action, that will help me to get the outcomes I desire? That should be the question. What can I sacrifice to achieve my goals? That should be the question. King David had an issue before he was king. He came back, the enemy had burned the village, taken all the families away. And scripture says David encouraged himself in the Lord. In fact, you call it motivation, but scripture refers more to encouragement. But you know, encouragement doesn't get the job done. David still had to discipline himself, even though he was discouraged and tired, went and fought and took back what was stolen from him. Discipline. Kings succeed because they are disciplined. Footballers succeed because they are disciplined. Scientists succeed because they are disciplined. You will succeed at your place of work because you're disciplined. I don't care how much motivation your manager gives you, the workers or the employees. You all know motivation doesn't do the job. Discipline. You still have to go to work 8 a.m. in the morning, finish at 5 p.m. It is discipline that took you to work. It is not motivation. Even at work, you work in the bank and the customer comes who is rude and you still calm down. It's not motivation that runs that particular incident. It is your discipline. You say, sir, I'm sorry you feel this way. I can get the manager to talk to you. Just calm down. Would you like anything? Discipline. But you, the teller or the cashier, you are boiling inside. What type of rude customer is this? And you may even open the account and the person is on minus. What kept you at that job is discipline, not motivation. Motivation doesn't keep people at work. Discipline. Like I said, you know why we love motivation? Motivation makes you feel good. Motivation gives you the impression that everybody is out to get you. So don't let anybody stop you. Motivation focuses on yourself. So it can feed into your self-centeredness or selfishness very easily. Discipline wouldn't do that. And so if you're a naturally selfish, self-centered, problematic person, you will love motivational speeches because they will not place any demand on your character, on your attitude, or any other thing that you need to interact in the social environment with other people and still be an engaged citizen who is empathetic and understands how other people think and behave so you can blend and advance human society. No, you wouldn't want that. You just want people who tell you what you want to hear, how you want to hear it, and when you want to hear it. But discipline, no. So it doesn't matter how much you're motivated. When the football coach or the manager says, tomorrow practice is at 8 a.m., you will be there. That is called discipline. So let me say this. Someone who is not motivated and disciplined will succeed far more than someone who is not disciplined but motivated. Because if you understand the true purpose of motivation, you will know motivation comes to kickstart something. But then motivation can kickstart your car, but only discipline will drive that car. Because at times in life, you may get stuck for various reasons. You need someone to motivate you, to stir you up, to restore your energy, to speak words that elevate your spirit. Fine. That spirit is now elevated, so you can now apply the discipline you need to become what you want to become. You want to become a great person? Discipline your appetite, discipline your sex drive, discipline how you talk, discipline how you interact with people around you. A lot of things need discipline, not motivation. In conclusion, I do understand that we live in a society that doesn't like to accept personal responsibility. And so we always look for shortcuts to accomplish certain things. I want to let you know that it is better for you to understand what works, even if it's in the long run, than to take a shortcut in the short run and crash. It is better to build properly than to rush the building in a haste and it collapses tomorrow. At times, you may be penny wise and pound foolish. You just want shortcuts. There is no shortcut to excellence. There is no shortcut to efficiency and proficiency. There is no shortcut to promotion. It takes discipline. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you plan. But what I can say is this as I conclude. Let us be motivated. But above all, let us understand that most likely, whatever outcomes we desire, discipline will yield it to us. At times, it may be the way you speak. Can you discipline that? But you know your problem, my problem, our problem? We say, well, I'm sanguine. I talk. That's the way I talk. That's the way I am. You knew I was this way before you married me. You knew I was this way before you employed me. You knew I was this way before you came for the business partnership. Listen, I hear that a lot. You were the way you were before they employed you. However, your employer expects growth, expects development. That is why in a lot of disciplines today, you must show proof that you're making progress in your profession. They employed you, but you must do extra courses. You need to improve in your career. If you stay the way you were, you will lose your job. Stop justifying mediocrity. Stop justifying bad behavior. Stop justifying bad character. Stop hiding behind your vices. Because if people have to behave the way they are to you, they will destroy you. We expect people not to behave the way they are, but to behave the way they should be. There's a huge difference. So stop telling people this is the way I am. No, that's a wrong statement. You should rather say, this is the way I should behave. Not the way you are behaving. That can be problematic. So let's also stop hiding behind our temperament to disguise our deficiencies. That will become very costly. I don't care what your temperament is. You need discipline in your life. If you're a talkative person, fine. But like scripture says, let your words be seasoned with grace. So talk as much as you want. But when people listen, it must encourage them. It must come with grace. It must lift up their spirit. It must strengthen. It must edify. Then you can talk. You can't just be talking everywhere you go. You talk, people are depressed. You talk, and then you justify by saying, oh, that's the way I am. No. Discipline. When you had your little baby, for those who have kids, didn't you discipline them to use the toilet? What if your child says, well, mommy, I'm not going to the toilet. This is the way I was when I was born. What would you say to that child? I'm not going to eat food. I was like this. I was drinking milk. It's just breast milk. So you wouldn't. You discipline the child to eat food. You discipline the child to use the toilet. You discipline the child to say good morning. You discipline the child. You don't motivate the child. Stop motivating your children. Start disciplining them. Or let me put it the right way before you misquote me. In your motivation, emphasize discipline. Otherwise, you're going to raise time bombs in your house called children. Let us ponder over these things. Let us think how to improve our life of discipline. And let us hope that however motivated we are, we must find out the discipline we need that will make that motivation to be fruitful. And let us stop gravitating all the time towards motivational speakers and then forget that the real voices we should listen to that will actually produce the result are disciplined speakers. Because a disciplined speaker is the one that will help you to accomplish and achieve your desires and your life goals. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. It is my prayer, and I hope same with you, that we will improve our discipline and hopefully accomplish whatever we need to accomplish. Thank you again for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you in another broadcast. Bye-bye.